time. The one resource we all share equally. Whether you're rich or poor, young or old, you get the same 24 hours in a day. The question is not how much time you have. The real question is, what are you doing with it? Every second that ticks away is gone forever. You can't save it. You can't earn more of it. You can't rewind it. Once it's gone, it's gone. And yet so many of us act like we have an unlimited supply. We procrastinate. We scroll endlessly. We say tomorrow like it's guaranteed. But here's the truth. Tomorrow is promised to no one. You say you want to succeed. You say you want to change your life. You say you want to be great. Then why are you wasting time? We live in a world of distractions. Social media, entertainment, gossip, comparison, they rob us of our potential 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, one wasted day at a time. And before we know it, years have gone by and we're still in the same place, wondering where the time went. Stop waiting. Start doing. Do you know how many dreams are buried in graveyards? How many talents were never used? How many goals died because someone kept putting them off? People don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they waste time. They wait for motivation. They wait for the right time. But the right time is now. You don't need more time, you need more focus. And you don't need a better opportunity, you need better discipline. You don't need to wait for next year, you need to take action today. Every great success story is built on the back of consistent, focused action, not occasional bursts of energy, but daily commitment to making the most of every moment. So ask yourself, are your actions today aligned with the life you want tomorrow? Are you building or are you wasting? Are you growing or are you just surviving? Cut out the distractions. Turn off what doesn't serve you. Distance yourself from people who waste your time. Stop chasing comfort and start chasing growth. Get uncomfortable. Get intentional. Time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Make every minute count. Treat time like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. The clock is ticking. Your future is calling. Your destiny is waiting. Stop wasting time. Time is the one resource that is both equally distributed and yet most recklessly wasted. It doesn't matter if you are a billionaire or broke, living in a city or a village, educated or uneducated, every human being is given the same 24 hours in a day. That's the great equalizer of life. But the outcomes of people's lives are vastly different. And one of the most significant reasons behind that is how they choose to use their time. The truth is, time is irreplaceable. You can always earn more money, buy another house, get a new car, but you can never buy back time once it's gone. And yet most people treat time as if it's disposable. Scrolling, binge watching, delaying, waiting. Every second that ticks away is a second you will never see again. People say, I don't have time, as an excuse to not pursue their goals or dreams. But the issue isn't that we don't have time, it's that we waste so much of it. When you consider how much time people spend on things that don't contribute to their growth, gossip, negativity, procrastination, mindless distractions, you realize that the problem isn't a lack of time, it's a lack of respect for time. Imagine you were given $86,400 every single day, but you had to use it or lose it, no savings allowed. You'd probably spend every cent wisely. Well, guess what? You are given 86,400 seconds every single day, and once they're gone, they're gone. There's no rollover, there's no bank account for time. Use it or lose it, that's how time works. Many people live their lives as if they have unlimited time. They postpone everything important, their health, their dreams, their relationships, their purpose. They say, one day I'll start that business, someday I'll get in shape, eventually I'll write that book. But here's the reality, someday is not a day of the week. Eventually doesn't exist on the calendar. One day often turns into never. Life is not promised, tomorrow is not guaranteed. And if you don't make use of today, you'll wake up one day full of regret, wondering where all the years went. Time doesn't pause for your excuses. It doesn't care if you're tired, unmotivated, scared, or overwhelmed. It keeps moving. Clock doesn't stop ticking because you're unsure of yourself. While you hesitate, time evaporates. That's why making the most of your time isn't just about being efficient. It's about being intentional. Every day you are either building your future or destroying it. There is no neutral ground. Every hour spent on something meaningless is an hour you're not investing in something that matters. Every minute wasted is a minute stolen from your goals, your family, your growth, your life. Successful people aren't gifted with more time. They're just better stewards of it. They understand that their time is their life. Every moment is a choice, either a deposit into your future or a withdrawal from your potential. That's why the most successful people plan their days, guard their calendars, and say no to anything that doesn't align with their vision. They don't allow time to drift. They direct it with purpose. You have to treat your time like it's sacred, because it is. That means saying no to things that waste it. That means being mindful of the people you give it to. Not everyone deserves your time. Not every opportunity is worth your attention. You must protect your time the same way you would protect something rare and priceless, because that's exactly what it is. When you treat your time as valuable, you begin to live with urgency. And when you live with urgency, you begin to live with impact. Many people don't understand the power of time until it's too late. They only realize its value when it's almost gone, when they're older, sicker, or facing the consequences of years spent drifting. Don't let that be your story. Don't wait for a wake-up call to start valuing the gift of time. Let today be the day you stop taking it for granted. Let today be the day you stop giving it away carelessly. Because every second that passes is either moving you closer to the life you want or pulling you further from it. Time has no mercy. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait. You must rise to meet it. You must be vigilant. You must use it with intention and focus. Every morning you wake up, you've been given another opportunity, not a guarantee, an opportunity. An opportunity to improve, to build, to grow, to heal, to take a step forward. It may not be a perfect day. It may not be the easiest day. But it is your day, and how you use it determines the life you'll eventually live. So stop wasting time. Stop treating it like you'll always have more of it. You won't. The clock is ticking, whether you're watching it or not. Use your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Procrastination is one of the most dangerous habits a person can develop. Not because it causes immediate harm, but because it silently chips away at your dreams, your goals, and your time. It's a thief dressed in comfort. It whispers, you have time. When you don't, it says, do it tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, until one day you're looking back, realizing that you never did it at all. What makes procrastination so deadly is that it feels safe. It feels justified. You tell yourself, I'm not ready yet, or I'll be more motivated later, or it's not the right time. And while you're convincing yourself that waiting is logical, time is slipping away. Opportunities are being missed. Potential is going unused. Life doesn't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect time to start anything. Conditions will never be ideal. You will never feel 100% ready. But you have to act anyway. Because waiting doesn't lead to progress. Action does. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're not talented enough. Most people don't fall short because they're not smart or because they didn't have resources. Most people fail simply because they never started. They allowed the comfort of delay to become a permanent lifestyle. Procrastination creates a false sense of productivity. You feel like you're doing something by planning, organizing, researching, thinking, but none of those things bring results without execution. You don't get rewarded for good intentions. You get rewarded for follow-through. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that you have plenty of time. After all, tomorrow is just a few hours away, and next week always seems like a fresh start. But those tomorrows and next weeks pile up. They become your reality. You begin to live in a constant state of postponement, promising yourself that you'll change, just not today. The danger is that the more you procrastinate, the more you condition your brain to accept it as normal. It becomes your automatic response. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to break the habit. That's why it's so crucial to take control of it now. Procrastination thrives on fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of discomfort, fear of not being perfect. But the only way to conquer fear is to take action in spite of it. Action kills fear. When you act, you gain clarity, confidence, and momentum. When you wait, you feed doubt, uncertainty, and regret. If you want to grow, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That means starting before you're ready. That means moving forward even when you feel unsure. That means choosing courage over convenience. Another powerful truth is that procrastination isn't just about laziness. Often it's about lack of clarity. When you don't have a clear goal or a strong why, it's easy to delay. You don't feel driven because you don't have a vision pulling you forward. That's why goal setting is essential. When you have a purpose that matters to you, when you understand the cost of not acting, procrastination loses its power. So if you find yourself constantly putting things off, ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What am I afraid of? And what will it cost me if I don't act now? People often say, I'll start when I feel motivated. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. If you rely on motivation, you'll always find reasons to delay. Discipline is what you need. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing progress over excuses. It's showing up for your goals even on the days when you're tired, bored, or frustrated. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. The cost of procrastination isn't just in missed opportunities. It's also in the stress, guilt, and self-doubt it creates. Every time you delay something important, you carry it with you like a weight. It clutters your mind. It drains your energy. You start feeling overwhelmed, not because you have too much to do, but because you've delayed it for too long. Finishing a task gives you peace and confidence. Delaying it steals both. That's why one of the most freeing things you can do is to simply start to take one small step, no matter how imperfect, and build momentum from there. Sometimes the hardest part is just beginning. The task seems bigger in your mind than it is in reality. But once you begin, you realize it's manageable. You realize that taking action is far easier than living with the anxiety of unfinished work. You don't have to do everything in one day. You just have to take the next step, then the next. Consistency beats perfection every time. Procrastination may feel harmless in the moment, but over time it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a habit of missing out, of falling short, of settling for less. You start believing that maybe your dreams were too big, that success isn't for you, but none of that is true. You are capable of extraordinary things. You have the ability to transform your life. But it starts with action, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. So ask yourself right now, what are you putting off? What have you delayed that could change your life if you started today? What would your future look like if you stopped procrastinating and started executing? The time to begin is not later, it's now. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop lying to yourself that you'll do it someday. Someday isn't on the calendar. Today is all you have. There is power in starting. There is power in progress. Every small step counts. Every action builds momentum. And with each choice to act rather than delay, you become stronger, more confident, more capable. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to see results. And that's when everything changes, not because the world changed, but because you did. Don't let procrastination steal another day of your life. You've got work to do. You've got goals to reach. You've got potential to fulfill. And it all starts when you stop waiting and start doing. Now is the time. Your future depends on it. We live in a world overflowing with distractions. They are everywhere, on our phones, our computers, our televisions, even in our own thoughts. And while many of these distractions seem small or harmless in the moment, over time they steal something incredibly valuable from us, our focus. And when we lose our focus, we lose our direction, our momentum, and ultimately our potential. Every time we allow ourselves to be pulled away from what matters, we trade purpose for noise and intention for impulse. Distractions are designed to be tempting. Social media platforms, streaming services, endless news cycles, and apps are all built with one goal in mind: to capture your attention and keep it. They don't care about your dreams. They don't care about your goals. Their mission is to keep you engaged, not empowered. And the more time you spend on them, the less time you spend building the life you truly want. You can be busy all day and still accomplish nothing of value, because being busy is not the same as being productive. When you're constantly distracted, you're constantly starting over. You never go deep. You never finish strong. You never hit your stride. When distractions become a habit, they train your brain to crave constant stimulation. You find it hard to sit still. You find it difficult to focus on a single task for more than a few minutes. You start multiple things and finish none. You begin to rely on external stimulation to feel engaged. But the reality is, success doesn't come from scattered energy. Success comes from concentrated effort, from immersing yourself in one thing, doing it well, and seeing it through. Every great achievement in history was born from deep focus, not shallow multitasking. The cost of distraction is not just time, it's quality, it's depth. It's the ability to master something, to create something meaningful, to make real progress. When you're constantly interrupted, your work suffers, your relationships suffer, your peace of mind suffers. You start feeling scattered, anxious, unfulfilled. And worst of all, you start believing that you're the problem, that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not disciplined enough, when in reality, you're just overwhelmed by noise. Focus is a superpower in today's world. It's rare, it's valuable. It's what separates those who drift from those who dominate. When you can focus, truly focus, you enter a state of flow, a mental zone where time disappears and productivity skyrockets. In that space, you become more creative, more efficient, more powerful. But to reach that level, you must protect your attention like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your future depends on how well you focus today. So how do you fight distractions? First, become aware of them. Know what pulls your attention away. Is it your phone? Is it the internet? Is it your environment? Is it negative people or your own untrained thoughts? Identify your triggers, then create boundaries around them. Turn off notifications. Set time limits on apps. Work in focused blocks of time without interruption. Design a space that supports your concentration instead of destroying it. Second, get clear on your priorities. When you don't know what matters most, everything feels important. And when everything feels important, nothing gets done. Write down your goals. Break them into daily actions. Focus on the vital few, not the trivial many. Learn to say no, not just to others, but to yourself. No to distractions, no to temptations, no to anything that pulls you away from your mission. Third, train your brain to focus. Just like your muscles, your attention span can be strengthened. Start small, work without interruption for 10 minutes, then 15, then 30. The more you practice deep focus, the easier it becomes. Meditate, read, write. Do things that require sustained attention. With time, your ability to concentrate will grow and the pull of distractions will weaken. It's also important to recognize that not all distractions are external. Sometimes the biggest distractions come from within, from fear, from doubt, from overthinking. Your own mind can become a battlefield of excuses and hesitation. That's why mental clarity is so important. When your mind is cluttered, your focus is fragmented. Take care of your mental health. Get enough sleep, exercise, journal, talk to someone. A healthy mind is a focused mind. Understand this, the battle for your future will be won or lost based on your ability to control your focus. Distraction leads to regret, focus leads to results. Every time you choose to concentrate on what matters, you are choosing progress over mediocrity. You are choosing excellence over average. You are choosing purpose over pleasure. And with every focused action, you move one step closer to the life you want. The people who succeed in this world are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who can drown out the noise and stay locked in on their vision. They're the ones who value their time, their energy, and their goals too much to waste them on things that don't matter. They're the ones who understand that what you focus on, you become. So the next time you're tempted to check your phone again, to open another tab, to respond to every notification, stop and ask yourself, is this helping me or is it holding me back? Is this making me better or is it making me distracted? You have the power to choose. You can either be the master of your attention or the victim of your distractions. Remember, every hour spent focused brings you closer to mastery. Every hour lost to distraction is a setback you may not be able to recover. Protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Your goals are waiting. Your dream life is on the other side of your attention. It's time to take it back. It's time to choose clarity over chaos, depth over noise, growth over distraction. Stay locked in, stay disciplined. And remember, distraction destroys focus, and without focus, there is no success. Intentions are easy. Everyone has them. People intend to start that business, intend to get in shape, intend to be more productive, intend to fix their relationships, or intend to chase their dreams. But the world isn't changed by intentions. Success is never built on what you plan to do. It's built on what you actually do. Action is what separates dreamers from doers. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without action, intentions are just empty promises you keep making to yourself and breaking day after day. The problem is we often mistake intention for progress. We think that just because we've thought about something deeply or talked about it repeatedly, we're somehow moving forward. But thinking isn't doing, talking isn't doing, planning isn't doing, action is doing. You don't get fit by reading fitness books. You don't become wealthy by watching motivational videos. You don't become skilled by just wishing for it. You get those results by doing, by showing up, putting in the reps, and taking action every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when you don't feel like it. People get stuck waiting for the right time or the right mood to begin. They want to feel motivated before they start. They want the stars to align, the perfect opportunity to knock, or life to slow down just enough. But waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of procrastination dressed in good intentions. The truth is, the perfect moment doesn't exist. Life will always be messy. You'll always have challenges. You'll always feel a little uncertain. But the people who succeed are the ones who take action despite that uncertainty. They don't let their emotions dictate their effort. They move forward whether they feel like it or not. Action isn't always glamorous. In fact, it's often uncomfortable. Real action looks like sitting down to work when you'd rather relax. It's choosing to train when you're tired. It's writing the page when you have no inspiration. It's making the call when you're nervous. It's having the tough conversation you've been avoiding. Action requires courage because it demands you risk failure, embarrassment, or discomfort. But those who act develop resilience. And with each step forward, they gain clarity, confidence, and momentum. When you take action, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. Confidence doesn't come from wishing. It comes from evidence. When you prove to yourself through consistent action that you are someone who follows through, your identity changes. You stop saying, "I want to," and start saying, "I will." You stop doubting your abilities because you're too busy using them. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you earn by doing the work. On the other hand, when you keep delaying action, you weaken your self-belief. Every time you say you'll do something and you don't, you erode your trust in yourself. You start to feel like someone who can't stick to goals, can't follow through, and can't change. That's how intentions without action turn into guilt, frustration, and even depression. You look at others who are progressing and wonder why you're stuck, and the answer isn't your talent, intelligence, or potential. The answer is simply that you haven't moved, you haven't acted, you've lived in the land of ideas instead of stepping into the real world of execution. There's a reason why small, consistent actions are so powerful. Because success is rarely about massive overnight changes. It's about doing the small, often boring things daily that others aren't willing to do. It's about making one better choice at a time, not just once, but over and over again. Consistency beats intensity every time. You don't need to run a marathon on day one. You just need to take that first step and then the next and the next until motion becomes momentum. Action also silences doubt. When you sit and overthink, your mind becomes a playground for fear. You imagine everything that could go wrong. You analyze until you're paralyzed. But once you take action, even a small one, the fog starts to lift. You see what's real. You learn. You adjust. You grow. Clarity comes from engagement, not contemplation. If you want to know the next step, take the first one. If you want to gain experience, put yourself in motion. If you want to feel progress, move forward. You also have to understand that action doesn't mean perfection. You don't need to get it all right on the first try. You will make mistakes, you will fail. That's part of the process. But failure from action is a learning experience. Failure from inaction is just regret. Progress requires movement, not mastery. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Many people fear that if they act and fail, it will prove they're not good enough. But the truth is, failure proves you're trying. Failure means you had the courage to step into the arena while others sat on the sidelines. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you've even tried. They didn't succeed because they were lucky. They succeeded because they refused to stay stuck in the comfort of intention. They moved, they acted, they learned, and they kept going. If there's something you've been meaning to do, a dream, a goal, a change, ask yourself what's really stopping you. Is it fear? Is it perfectionism? Is it doubt? Whatever it is, it will only grow stronger the longer you stay still. But the moment you take even one small action, you take your power back. You show yourself that you're in control. You stop being a victim of hesitation and start becoming a creator of change. You are capable of more than you think, but you'll never know your true potential until you begin. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You have to go out and build it, step by step, action by action. Your future doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to your effort, your grind, your resilience, your consistency. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission. Just act. Start messy. Start scared. Start small. But start, because action beats intention every single time. Time is the one resource we can never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can miss opportunities and find new ones. You can damage relationships and rebuild them over time. But once a second is gone, it's gone forever. You don't get it back. That's why how you choose to use your time matters more than almost anything else in life. If you don't value your time, you're silently giving away the most precious thing you'll ever own. The people who go far in life are not always the smartest, the richest, or the most connected. They are the ones who recognize the value of time and treat it with the respect it deserves. They understand that every minute counts. Every moment is a chance to build, to learn, to improve, to grow. They don't waste their time on things that don't matter, and they don't allow others to steal their time with drama, negativity, or distractions. You have to start seeing time as your currency. When you wake up each day, you are handed a limited amount of time, 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. That's it. The question is, how will you spend it? Will you invest it in things that move you closer to your goals, or will you waste it on things that drain you and leave you empty? Every time you scroll for hours, binge watch, overthink, or delay, you are trading your future for temporary comfort, and the cost is far higher than you think. One of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves is, I have time. You don't know that. None of us do. We act like we're guaranteed another 10, 20, or 50 years, but the truth is, time is not promised. Every single day is a gift. And when you waste that gift, you're showing the universe that you don't value your own life. Think about that. Every time you waste time, you're saying, my life doesn't matter enough to be lived intentionally. If you were told you had only 1 year left to live, how would you spend your time? Would you waste it on meaningless arguments? Would you lose hours mindlessly scrolling on social media? Would you put off your dreams for someday? Or would you finally take action? Would you finally live with urgency, purpose, and clarity? The truth is, that sense of urgency should be present every single day. Not because we live in fear, but because we live with awareness. Awareness that life is fragile. Awareness that time is not renewable. Awareness that we owe it to ourselves to make every day count. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't just talent, it's how they use their time. Successful people guard their time with intensity. They have routines, systems, and boundaries. They know when to say no. They don't waste energy on things that don't align with their purpose. They value rest, yes, but they don't confuse rest with laziness. They understand that there's a time for everything, a time to work, a time to play, a time to reflect, and a time to move forward. The person who uses time wisely can achieve more in a year than someone who wastes time can in a decade. It's not about working non-stop, it's about working with focus. It's about cutting the clutter from your life, the useless commitments, the time-wasting habits, the draining relationships, and filling that space with meaningful action. Your future is shaped not by what you do occasionally, but by what you do consistently with your time. Discipline plays a huge role in valuing your time. When you don't feel like working, when you're tempted to waste time, when your mind tells you just a few more minutes of distraction, that's when you must choose discipline. Because the undisciplined mind will always choose the path of least resistance, and that path leads nowhere. If you want to create something extraordinary with your life, you must rise above momentary urges and choose the long-term reward. One of the greatest ways to reclaim your time is by eliminating excuses. Excuses waste time faster than anything else. Every moment you spend justifying why you're not doing something is a moment you could have spent actually doing it. Every time you say, I'm too tired, it's too hard, I'll do it later, you delay your own progress. Excuses are time thieves dressed in rationality. You have to recognize them for what they are, lies that keep you stuck. If you want to live a powerful, fulfilled life, you need to get serious about your time. Audit your day. Where does your time really go? Be honest. Most people have time, they just don't manage it. They waste hours on social media, entertainment, pointless conversations, and unproductive habits, then claim they're too busy to pursue their goals. You're not too busy. You're just not prioritizing correctly. Learn to say no, not out of rudeness, but out of respect for your time. Not every invitation deserves your attendance. Not every message needs an instant reply. Not every task needs your attention right now. Focus on what truly matters. Learn to block distractions. Learn to schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule. Time also affects your identity. The way you use your time shapes who you become. If you spend your time learning, building, creating, and growing, you become someone who thrives. If you spend your time consuming, complaining, or delaying, you become someone who stays stuck. Your habits are a reflection of your time investment. If you want to change your life, change how you use your time. And finally, remember this, you don't need more time, you need more intention. Every moment already contains the potential for greatness. You just have to claim it. Don't wait until you're older. Don't wait until things are perfect. Don't wait until the pain of wasting time becomes unbearable. Decide now that your time is valuable. Act now like your life matters, because it does. You don't get this day back. Once it's gone, it's gone. The clock is ticking, not to scare you, but to remind you that you have work to do, dreams to chase, and a life to live fully. So stop wasting time. Start making it count, right? 2-2. Your future isn't something that just happens to you, it's something you build, one decision at a time, every moment. You are creating your future with the choices you make, and perhaps more importantly, the choices you avoid. And one of the biggest traps you can fall into is procrastination, the habit of putting off the actions that matter most. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you're gambling with your future. You're assuming that tomorrow will offer the same opportunity, the same energy, the same clarity, but it rarely does. Later becomes never, and someday is where dreams go to die. Procrastination may seem harmless in the moment. It often wears a mask of comfort. It tells you you've got time, or you're not ready yet, or you'll feel more motivated tomorrow. But what it's really doing is robbing you of momentum. Momentum is powerful. When you begin something, even if it's small, your energy builds. Action fuels more action. Progress generates confidence. But the longer you delay starting, the heavier the task becomes in your mind. It begins to feel overwhelming. You create mental barriers that don't even exist. What was once a simple action now feels like a mountain you can't climb. The truth is, the things you delay often become the very things you regret. Not because they were too hard, but because you never gave yourself the chance to find out what could have happened if you had just started. Whether it's a goal, a relationship, a project, or a habit, procrastination slowly eats away at your potential. It replaces growth with stagnation. It replaces dreams with excuses. It turns a life of purpose into a life of passivity. You may think you're protecting yourself by waiting for more time, more motivation, or more perfection. But you're not protecting yourself, you're limiting yourself. You're stuck not because you're incapable, but because you've convinced yourself that the right moment will eventually arrive. Here's the reality. The right moment is now. Growth happens when you begin. not when conditions are ideal. The perfect time doesn't exist. If you're always waiting for the stars to align, you'll spend your life staring at the sky instead of moving forward. One of the hardest truths to accept is that procrastination is a choice. It's not something that happens to you, it's something you allow. And just like any other habit, it can be broken. It starts with awareness. You have to recognize when you're delaying out of fear, out of laziness, or out of a desire to stay comfortable. Then you need to take responsibility. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop blaming your schedule. Stop blaming your mood. None of those things control you unless you let them. To overcome procrastination, start by breaking the task down. Often we delay because the job feels too big. So shrink it. Take the first step, no matter how small. Write one sentence, make one call, do 5 minutes of work. The action doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to begin. Progress comes not from intensity, but from consistency. If you do one thing today and another tomorrow, you'll be further along than if you had waited a week to get in the zone. Also, eliminate distractions. You cannot win the battle against procrastination while keeping your biggest time wasters close by. Put your phone away. Log out of social media. Create a work environment that supports focus. Time block your day. Protect your priorities. When you control your environment, you make it easier to control your actions. Another key to beating procrastination is reconnecting with your why. Why does this task matter? What's at stake if you don't follow through? Remind yourself that your goals are not optional. They are necessary. If you want to become who you're meant to be, you have to care deeply about your future, because if you don't, procrastination will win every time. When you're connected to your purpose, discipline becomes easier. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start declaring, "This must be done." Understand that procrastination is not a time issue, it's an emotional issue. Most of the time we delay things because of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But action is the cure to fear. The more you avoid something, the bigger the fear grows. The more you confront it, the smaller it becomes. The only way out is through. You must face the discomfort head on, knowing that growth only lives on the other side of resistance. You also have to forgive yourself for the time you've already lost. Don't waste more time beating yourself up for what you didn't do yesterday. That only fuels the cycle of delay. Accept it, learn from it, and move on. Every day is a clean slate. What matters is not where you've been stuck, it's what you choose to do now. One decision, right now, can shift the direction of your life. Accountability helps too. Share your goals with someone who will hold you to them. Not someone who will comfort your excuses, but someone who will challenge your delay. Join a group, get a mentor, build a system that rewards action and punishes delay. You are far more likely to follow through when someone is counting on you. Ultimately, you have to decide what kind of life you want to live. One of reaction, where you always delay, always put things off, always stay in the comfort zone, or one of action, where you take control, do the hard things, and move forward despite fear. Your future depends on that decision. Every day you procrastinate, you push your dreams further away. But every day you act, even in the smallest way, you close the gap between who you are and who you want to become. So the next time you hear that voice in your head whisper, "Do it later," respond with action. Do it now. Not perfectly, not completely. Just start. Because once you start, everything changes. Momentum builds, confidence rises, clarity forms, and your future begins to take shape. Stop gambling with your future. Stop lying to yourself about having time. Stop waiting for later. Later is uncertain, but now is in your hands, and what you do with now determines everything that comes next.